Well, hello folks, and welcome back to Fisting Java Save the Universe. I am Fist-25, and today we're going to bring you a special video. It is a light fighter comparison video. We have a lot of ships lined up, I think 19 different ships to review, and this video is actually going to be our first video that we are going to break out in different tiers, meaning for those of you that are not channel members, you will get the basic video, the free YouTube video with basic information, and we'll go over that later. And then the members only, the YouTube channel members, will get an extended cut of this video and all the goodness that lies in it. But really kind of the same basic information for both. There's just more detail in the members only video. So without further ado, let's get on to the light fighters. Let's roll that intro and then we'll go over what the video is about. Okay, thanks for sitting through that intro, and let's talk about what this video is actually about. It's about light fighters, and in some cases, light fighter slash light freight. It's really what CIG and is classified as light fighters, kind of slash light freight in Star Citizen. I did not do the variants of most of the ships because there weren't that many differences between them. So if there was a big difference between them, then they are on here. So let's go over what ships are going to be reviewed. Hey folks, it is Fist-25. I'm breaking into the video real quick here to explain that while I was doing the edits, I started doing the numbers, and 19 ships is a very, very, very long video. So I'm going to break this down into chunks, and it's going to become basically a series of the light fighters. And what's that's going to do is allow me to edit faster. It's going to make the video shorter overall, and it'll kind of lead up to the final result. So the members only will have the longer videos, the uncut stuff, and the free YouTube videos will be a little bit shorter, but more digestible. So yeah, so that's how this is gonna go, and thank you all so much for watching. Now back to the regularly scheduled video you've already been watching. First off, the ever popular starter ship, the Aegis Avenger Titan, will be part of this review. Next up, we have the ship that's sitting behind me, the Aegis Gladius. Next up, we will have the Anvil Arrow. Following the Arrow, we will have the Anvil Hawk. After the Hawk, we will be looking at the Apoa Cartual. Then we'll be looking at the Banu Defender. Following up the Defender, it'll be the Consolidated Outland Mustang Alpha. And then the variant that is different from the Alpha, the Consolidated Outland Mustang Delta. Following the Delta, the last of the Consolidated Outland ships, the Nomad. Following up the Nomad, we have Drake, and its only entry in this comparison, it is the Drake Buccaneer. After the Buck, we are looking at the Asperia Blade. After the Blade, the Asperia Talon. And following up the last ship from Asperia, the Asperia Talon Shrike. Following up Asperia, we have the Misk Reliant Core. And of course, who can forget the Misk Reliant Tana? Following up the Misk ships is the Origin 125A and the Origin 325A. And finally, the last two ships are RSI ships, the RSI Aurora LN, or Legionnaire, and the RSI Aurora Mark, or MR. And those are the ships we are going to review in the review today. Now, earlier I talked about what you get in the non-member video and the member-only video, and we're going to go over that real quick. First off, what we're in right now is the introduction and agenda of what we're going to be going over. Following that up is going to be, this is on the non-member side, it's going to be a brief overview of each ship. Also, a brief stat comparison of each ship. Final grades of each ship compared to each other. Remember, all these ships are compared to each other, not necessarily to the greater game as a whole. And there'll be curated cuts of dogfights and other footage in the non-member video. In the member-only video, there will be, of course, all the non-member parts of the video with an extended cut of most of those scenes, a detailed overview of each ship, including a loadout review of each ship, a detailed dogfight of each ship, and a podium finish of the top 3 ships. Really, with the member-only video, it is so you can get more detail on these ships. I mean, if you're looking to buy one, or if you're really just looking to do research and all that, this is patch 3.21. I'm sorry, 3.23.1 alpha. And the stats of these ships have already changed to PTU of some of them anyway. And, oh, the lights just dimmed in here. And anyway, we'll be looking at the stats as far as this patch is concerned. But overall, they're fairly the same. All right. I think it's time to move on to the categories we are going to review. All right, for the categories we're going to look at, it is going to be the total weapon damage in guns. That is guns plus missiles. I mean, there'll be gun damage, there'll be missile damage, and there'll be total weapon damage, which is guns plus missiles. Then we'll be looking at the shield pool, total hit points in shields. We'll be looking at the stealth modifiers for each ship. And I get a total number here, which is your infrared, your EM emission, and the highest CS cross-section, and I add all those together for a total stealth number. Finally, we look at the armor damage resistance number as part of the basic ship stats, as well as the total hull hit points, the weakest vital part hit point, which kind of shows like if you get a vital part hit, you're not really going to be able to fly the ship very long, and so that does matter from ship to ship. We're going to look at the SCM speed, the SCM boost speed, and the maximum navigational speed of each ship. We're going to look at the maneuverability of each ship, which is the pitch, the roll, and the yaw. And what I do is I take the maximum stats non-boosted, and I add them all together for a final number, because some ships are better than roll, some ships are better in yaw. So that's how I derive that number. We look at how much flight time you get in minutes without scooping hydrogen, just basic flight time with your hydrogen. We'll look at the size of the quantum fuel tank and how far this ship can go in quantum. We're going to look at kind of an X factor a little bit, the cargo grid size and SCU, because some ships have cargo, some don't. We're going to look at how much these ships cost in-game with alpha UEC. And we're going to be talking about X factors for each ship that I have identified, you know, things I'm looking at for each ship. Now, I don't own all of these ships. I own quite a few of them, but for those I don't own, we'll be renting them in Arena Commander and testing them out there. And so there might be some EVA or some other things involved as far as Arena Commander is concerned. But we'll try our best to do everything in the live PU. All right, and without further ado, let's take a look at our first ship, the one right behind me, the Aegis Gladius. Let me change into my spacesuit, and we'll be on our way. All right, so here we are at the Aegis Gladius in the hangar. And this is, of course, the hero ship, at least in the start of Squadron 42, and it is a pretty cool ship. It has some of the most advanced animations in the game, at least so far. We'll see how it compares to a lot of the other ships. Let's go ahead and go inside. Very nice canopy animation there. Nice and smooth and slow. This does have one of the better animations out of all the ships in the game, probably because it's the hero ship for Squadron 42. As we kind of take a look around, let's turn on power first, and we'll get this going.
Aegis combat system activated. Systems green.
Well, that's too bad. They used to have an animation where you looked at both of the MFDs and you pushed buttons and then power turned on, but apparently that isn't happening anymore. I haven't flown the ship in this pack, so that is actually too bad. So let's go ahead and take a look at the general cockpit layout of the Aegis Gladius. You can see we have 4 multifunction displays. We have ship status on the top left and target on the top right, and those are the 2 that you can see really with your HUD cross section. You can't see the bottom ones unless you're physically looking down. But down here we have the power triangle on the bottom left and our shields on the bottom right. This is exactly what you want for your display setup for combat. We can see the buttons over here. We have an open pilot canopy button. We have an able coupled flight, engaged cruise control, G-safe limiter, proximity flight assist. We have our engine on button. Up here to the right, top right, we don't have anything else. In the center area, nothing on the stick. Moving over to the left under the MFD, we have the spool quantum drive, weapons on and off, power on and off. And so our engine's on the right, power and weapons on the left. Interesting. And then moving down by the stick, there's plenty of buttons, but there's no buttons to do anything with. And we do have an ejection in the Aegis Gladius. Let's look at our stealth numbers real quick up in the corner if we can. Kind of obscured by... Okay, that was crazy. Here we go. It looks like our infrared is 8411. Our cross section is 8654, and our EM is 5290 and lowering. All right, this is the only ship that I am going to take off from ArcCorp in. Everything else will be at a different station, so we can actually do some of the dogfighting missions. So let's open up the hangar and head out of here. All right, now that the hangar is open, let's bring the Gladius up a little bit. It does look good. Let's go ahead and cycle the landing gear. Very nice animation. You can see our thrusters on the bottoms where it looks like a drop tank would go. So very interesting on that. It has a really good aesthetic look to it. And as we raise up, again, this is the only portion we're going to be doing in ArcCorp. Everything else will be done in space and on moons and things like that for the extended cut. Good vertical velocity. Let's go ahead and engage our SCM cruise control as we start to head out of ArcCorp. The ship looks very good, very smooth, and it flies really well. Let's go ahead and go into the cockpit here. While we're here at ArcCorp, let's go ahead and we'll check our SCM speed. We're at about 221 right there. Let's check our boost. And if you heard that boost sound is really nice. The upgraded sound effects for this ship. Looks like at ArcCorp we're only getting about 369-ish. And the boost does go down pretty darn quick. All right, let's head out into nav mode. We'll see how long that takes. Just a couple seconds. And we will spool up our nav mode as fast as we can go in atmosphere. Let's see, we're hitting 390s. That's pretty high gravity here at ArcCorp, so. Okay, 390s, let's check it with boost. It's climbing in the 480s. About 486 is the max we're gonna get here at ArcCorp in kind of a high gravity situation. Let's go ahead and head up to space and we'll cut over to base flight. Stay tuned. All right, so we are back and we just refueled at Seraphim Station, and we're going to check our speed stats here on the Aegis Gladius. Right now in space, our SCM speed is 225 meters a second, and our full boost speed Looks like an even 500 meters a second. We'll go ahead and check out our navigational speed. Our max nav speed. We are cruising 1200. 1200 is our max nav speed. Now let's take a look at Crusader here and we'll check the maneuverability of the Gladius. Let's do a pitch check. It feels good. The pitch feels actually really good. The ship is maneuverable, very maneuverable, and it should be because it's a pretty small ship. It's custom made to be a fighter. So the yaw check actually felt very, very tight, very good. And our roll speed is actually high as well. This is all unboosted, right? So, and it's in nav speed, but regardless of that, maneuverability feels really good in space. I think now it's time to grab a dogfighting mission and see how it performs with its weapons. Stay tuned. All right, folks, here we are making our way into the mission here. It's an LRT. Not trying to go real hard on these missions. They are light fighters. I think they're very kind of custom tailored for these missions to begin with. I'm gonna shut off my cruise control, and at about 20 clicks I like to go into weapons mode here. And you can see on my Mantis GT220 I have 2,133 rounds, and my Panthers I have 83 rounds, and those are rechargeable. First thing I'm gonna do is light up or prepare to ignite 2. Actually, I should probably go for the arresters. I'll go for a size 3 to start this thing off. We're going in at just SCM speed right now. Letting our EM cool down, so we're a tad stealthier. It's now below our cross section, so they should see us right around 8.6 kilometers away. If that actually is true, we will see. And at least we're on the light side of the asteroids, and we're fighting in space, so that's good. Haven't seen my target yet. There we go. Yosai Hamilton, which is not our bounty, is in a missed hull A. So at about 5 clicks or so, we're going to fire off this missile. He hasn't seen me yet, or hasn't looked at me yet. And boom, 5 clicks. And there we go. We fired off our ignites, our arrestor 3. And we're going to fire off 2 more ignites. And now they've seen me. So let's see how this works. Is it more maneuverable? I don't know. We'll find out. Did my missiles even hit? I'm not sure. I should be able to outmaneuver a whole A. We'll find out. Using all my weapons at once. Pretty close in. Oh, come on, whole A. Hopefully you don't have any crazy invulnerable hull spots. I don't know what he's doing. He's flying backwards. It's hard to get him targeted. Looks like they're not really hitting me for much on my shields. I do feel like this guy should have been blown up by now. Ooh, ran out of lasers. Just using straight gun there. Why is the missed hull A so hard to kill right now? Trying to get that burst damage. He is red all over. I don't even think he's going anywhere right now. I kind of want to leave him and go to the other guy. Boom, there we go. Okay, we got a soft kill. Now let's go after our main target, who is an Origin 315P. Kind of an odd ship for that. See if we can get some missiles on him. This will lock us off. We have one more missile left, and that is our size 3. I know I'm engaging kind of out. Oh, it looks like, did we get him? I think we got him. Very nice. And that is a Drake Cutter Rambler, so 3 ships in this lineup. Let's see if we can go past him. Actually, looks like we're locked. Fire, well, maybe we didn't get locked. That's too bad. All right, let's check the Cutter Rambler. Didn't really have to worry about them doing too much damage with shields and all that. Ooh. Oh no, is this our main target? I swear it said Cutter Rambler. Maybe I was looking at somebody different. There's the Cutter Rambler. Okay, maybe we didn't take down the original ship. Not sure what happened there. But now let's go after the Cutter. I am not fighting using a lot of techniques for dogfighting. And I'm low on the ammo, which is a downside of... Whoa! Oh, hit him. Lost a right wing. Woo! Okay, let's see. Survivability. Looks like we took him out, though. So I guess mission complete. Burrito I eat. That was a little nuts. Is that my wing over there? Or is that a piece of his ship?
Proximity alert. Hit.
I can't tell. I can't tell. It's something. It's probably a piece of his ship. Maybe I ended up disabling him and then he blew up. Kind of hard to tell. But let's fly out of the asteroids here. There we go. So let's see our damage that we took on the Gladius. The whole right wing is gone, including our maneuvering thruster, I believe. Yeah, so it might be a little weird in some of the turns. Well, other than that, survivability is pretty good. Looks like we spent most of the rounds of the Mantis, most of them on the hull A, and so we have a little under 2,000 left. All right, so let's look at the basics on the Aegis Gladius. The Gladius has above average maneuverability, as you probably saw during the dogfight and flying around. It did feel really good in space and both in atmosphere as well, especially low atmosphere like a moon. So it does turn and burn pretty darn well. It also has above average flight time for the ship. About 68 minutes you can fly in the Gladius on a full tank of hydrogen. As far as the downsides of the Gladius, it has below average armor damage resistance, only about 50%, which is, believe it or not, like almost standard, but that is on the low side compared to the rest of the light fighters. And it has below average total hit points of only 7,160, and that's a big downside, meaning once you get past the shields, the Gladius is pretty darn vulnerable in comparison. Some of its X factors are that it's very average across the board, but it is a very agile ship, maneuverable ship. It has good flight time, low hit points, and it is the main Squadron 42 fighter. The rest of the stats are just about average, right? Total weapon damage of guns and missiles and total damage is just in the average range compared to the other light fighters. It only has those 3 fixed hard points for guns. You can mix up the missiles in a different loadout, but we're using the stock loadout and it's not that impressive, but it's okay. It's average. The shield pull is pretty darn average. It comes with 2 all-stop size 1 shields. The weakest vital part at 2,000 hit points is pretty darn average. I did lose a wing during the dogfight, so it was able to survive that. The SCM speed, boost speed, and nav speed are all in the average range, although it does feel pretty darn fast, especially with a 1,200 max speed. It just average because these are light fighters. The quantum fuel tank, 671 liters, which is a little bit higher than the normal. Well, I shouldn't say normal. It is normal, but it's a little bit higher than I guess what I expected for a ship of this size. It definitely doesn't have any cargo in the cargo grid, and it does have a pretty average in-game price if you buy the ship in game of 2.38 million alpha UEC. It does have a couple variants. The Gladius Valiant, I believe, is one of the Masters of Flight series, which is pretty darn cool. Same ship, different loadout. And the Gladius Pirate, which you can get from doing some Arena Commander missions, is same ship, different loadout, different paint. Just kind of like the Valiant. So that is it for the Aegis Gladius. It's time to move on to the next ship. All right, folks, so the next ship up for review is the Aegis Avenger Titan. Definitely one of my favorite ships in the game. It is a starter ship, and still one of the best starter ships I think you can get for the money in Star Citizen. So the ship has some really good basic features, especially for a light fighter kind of slash light freight. It's also kind of a transporter ship. It's got a size 4 weapon on the front nose hardpoint, and similar to the Gladius, it has 3 hardpoints, 2 size 3 hardpoints on its wings that are fitting Omni Sky 9 laser cannons, and the mount on front is a Remnant Gatling gun. So there are some surprises about this ship as well, which we'll get into when we do the stat review. It surprised me, at least, when I started looking at Master Modes things about the Avenger Titan. So let's go take a look at it. All right, here is the ship affectionately known as the Penguin to some people because of its color, the white and the black on the Avenger Titan. As we mentioned, the nose gun here is a size 4 Remnant Gatling gun, which does a lot of damage. It's interesting that this high-speed Gatling gun is paired with Omni Sky 9 laser cannons, but it's certainly cool. Still one of my favorite ships. All right, as we come up forward, we'll go ahead and turn on power. Did not hear the engines, so there we go. Now we hear the engines. A little bit of lag in the game, apparently. They're on, even though you can't see them from that view, so interesting there. Let's take a look at the layout of the cockpit. A 2D radar, so that's kind of different from a lot of the other ships. A little bit old school. Feels old school Aegis. We have 3 multi-purpose displays up here. 2 of them you can see along with the radar at the normal view here. We have our ship status and our target, the 2 you need, and then we have a weapons display at the bottom here as well. Tons of glass here in the Aegis Avenger Titan, so pretty neat. Let's look at some of the things in our cockpit that we can actually use. Looks like nothing on the right side. We got an open exterior button up there. We have a power off button, engine on button, open pilot canopy, and ejection is a button. There's no ejection lever down there. That's really it. It needs a gold pass, I think, maybe. We can see, let's look at our beginning stealth numbers if we can. We have IR 6511, cross section 7617, and EM 6285 and going down. Looks like we have 17 rounds in our Omni Sky laser cannons and 2,000 rounds in our size 4 Remnant Gatling. Let's go ahead and open up the hangar door here. We'll raise the ship up a little bit. We'll go ahead and cycle this tricycle landing gear. Notice it went nose up. It's been doing that for quite a while. So it looks really clean on the bottom here. Very nice looking ship. The white, the black just takes me back to when I first started playing Star Citizen. This was definitely one of my first ships. Here we are pulling out of Seraphim Station. So we have another player coming in. Flying around, it does look pretty darn good. It just, I can't get over the cool look of the space shuttle type look of the ship, I guess is the right word. Let's see what our SCM speed is in space. It is 260 meters a second. Let's get our full boost. Not great engine sounds, but you hear it a little bit. Looks like 562, I believe, is our max with boost. And the boost seems to last a little while as well. Let's give it, let's put it into nav mode. Now, SCM speed is one of the strengths of this ship, right? 260 is a lot of SCM speed. So let's check our maximum navigational speed here in space. 1425. That is definitely one of the fastest ships in the light fighter category. And it feels very good as well. Let's go ahead and give it a pitch check. Not great in pitch. Not super maneuverable. Yaw check. Coming around. There's Seraphim coming back around to Crusader. Not a great check. Not super maneuverable. Not horrible. Not super maneuverable, right? It is kind of a cargo ship, starter ship, kind of all in one type of ship. But it definitely feels pretty darn good. Okay, well, we're comparing light fighters, not light freight. So let's get the ship in a dogfight and let's see how it performs. I have a feeling it's going to perform pretty darn good. Not as good as probably the Gladius, but pretty darn well. Stay tuned. All right, folks, so we're making our way again to another combat mission here with the Aegis Avenger Titan. It's this ship is not solely designed for combat, although it is a little bit bigger than the Gladius and other ships in this category, so it's not going to shy away from combat. As we hit about 20k, I'm going to switch into SCM mode, get my shields going, and I'm going to spool up a couple missiles. It only has 4 missiles, so keep that in mind. But the SCM speed, look at that SCM speed, 260 in the Avenger Titan. I can't wait till it gets its upgraded sound effects. It does come with some basically industrial grade components, except for the coolers, which are military grade, and a civilian grade C quantum drive. And now all these ship comparisons are stock against each other, so please keep that in mind as well. We haven't seen our target yet. Our EM is still coming down, although this ship is not necessarily stealthy per se. They should be able to see me right now because of my EM. Apparently, they definitely saw me. So we have a missile lock on Drake Cutter. So now we're gonna, I guess, go fight this Drake Cutter. The ship has fantastic boost ability. And let's look how fast. Let's look at the difference between these laser cannons and the RevNet. Oh, it maneuvers pretty darn slow. Definitely want to use boost in the maneuvering. But check out the cutter. Really fast. Boom. Goes the dynamite. Okay. This is a VLRT, so not as hard, I guess, as the Gladius mission with an LRT. This is a Mustang Alpha, another ship in this comparison. Let's get out of the sun. Okay, thank you. Switch to missiles. Can we lock some missiles on him? He's not even hurting my shields. I don't know if those missiles actually locked. Oh, they did hit him. Out of missiles though, after that. So let's boom goes the dynamite. Okay. And he went pretty darn quick. Looks like he lit off some flares. And that's it. I mean, look, the Revenant Gatling does a ton of damage, and I mean, it shoots fast, right? But it's a size 4 gun. And those laser cannons, they just wreck shop. So, I mean, we only used not even 300 rounds for the Revenant, and I think that goes to show that this ship is pretty potent in combat. We didn't take any damage at all, and the Aegis Avenger is still flying around, able to handle some light combat pretty darn easily. Do you want to use it for LRTs? Of course. Do you want to use it for medium risk? Probably. Do you want to use it for HRTs? I would say probably not, just because it has pretty poor maneuverability overall. So with that, let's go test out this ship on the moon. Stay tuned. All right, so let's talk about the stats of the Aegis Avenger Titan. First off, it has flat out, and it's a tie, but it is the best in class SCM speed, SCM boost speed, and max navigational speed. I mean, this thing, for some reason, it really hauls butt. 260 SCM speed is really fast for any ship. 610 SCM boost speed and 1,425 for the max nav speed. I mean, this thing moves, as we saw in the video. The other above average stats are the guns and the flight time. So for guns, 2,610 damage for the guns stock, right? So the Omni-Sky 9 laser cannons, size 3s, plus a Remnant size 4 on the nose. This thing handles itself really well as far as weapons go. And for its flight time, it can go about 43 minutes without having to scoop or refuel for hydrogen, which is quite a long time to play in the game. It also is cheap, and it has cargo capacity. So you can buy this ship in-game for 1.35 million alpha UEC, which is cheap in comparison to a lot of the rest of the ships in this comparison, for sure. Ships with a lot less utility. And the Avenger Titan gives you 8 cargo. I mean, it's not the most out of any of these ships, but it is in the top area, top tier. 8 cargo for a ship that can fight, that can... has a bed, it has different things in it. It's really nice. But it does have a couple downsides. The downsides on the Avenger Titan is that it is a below average armor damage resistance percentile of only 50%, similar to the Gladius and quite a few other ships in this review, to be quite honest with you. And it has a below average size quantum fuel tank of only 612 liters of quantanium or quantum fuel. Overall, the ship has a grade of an A, so it is one of the highest grades of all the ships in the light fighter comparison. We have reached our first A grade. I think with the combination of the best in class upsides, great stock weapons, cargo capability, the ship has a bed that you can sleep in. Let me, what are some of the other X factors? Low price. It actually, I'm not listing the fuel scoop here, but it has a really good fuel scoop, so you can scoop in hydrogen and basically get gas as you go pretty darn easily. It is a starter ship, so the price is fairly low, and like I said, it has a bed that you can sleep in, log out in space. A lot of upsides to the Aegis Avenger Titan. As far as the rest of the stats go, missile damage, I mean, it's only 4 size 2 missiles, so it's on par as average compared to the rest of the fighters and freight haulers in this review. Because that damage is so low, it brings its total stock damage, weapon damage down to only 12,000. It has standard shields, 2 size 1 shields that are not anything to write home about. It is not stealthy. I think we found that out, that its stealth rating, all the numbers together, 20,000 is pretty high. Although it's not stealthy. It can be stealthier. It has average total hit points and average weakest vital part. So it can stand up to a little bit of a beating, but it's by no means has the strongest hull. And its maneuverability is only average in comparison with the rest of the light fighters. I kind of felt like it may have been a little bit below average, but we have yet to test out all the rest of the fighters in the master modes configuration, because a lot of these ships I haven't flown in quite a while or reviewed. So with that, like I said, overall a grade of A, a really great ship. I highly recommend this ship to anybody playing Star Citizen or just starting out playing Star Citizen. A great ship to own, a great ship to start out with, and upgrade to a higher tier ship if that is your goal. And it's one of the ships I started out with. Let's head into the loadout section of the Aegis Avenger Titan. All right, so now let's check in with the first Anvil ship in our review, the Anvil Arrow. A pretty interesting ship. It, you know, was built to be this really fast fighter, and it's not slow, but it's not super fast either. I think it should be faster, but it is an interesting ship, very maneuverable. It has technically 4 guns, really 3 hard points. It does have some missiles available to it, and it is designed really to be a fighter. There's no bed, so to speak of. There's no back area like in the Avenger Titan. It is made to be a fighter. It is made to be maneuverable, and yeah, let's take a look at the pretty cool looking Anvil Arrow. All right, so here is the Anvil Arrow from the front. The wings are folded up like it's made to be some kind of a carrier aircraft, spacecraft, I should say. Nice ladder animation coming out. We climb up in the red lit cockpit. Okay, so we are now in. Let's fire the sucker up. You can see the engine in the back lighting up. Looks like there's actual flame in the back, and that does look cool. So fully Anvil Aerospace here. Okay, lots of light in this cockpit, which I actually really like. Very fighter pilot-esque, but also a lot of blinking lights, so that's a little distracting. As far as our buttons go, we have engine on. Looks like both of those guys are engine on, even though they're knobs that turn, so not sure why those are the engine on buttons. Over here we have power off, open pilot canopy. We have what should be a landing gear knob here in the shape of a wheel, but it's not. Yeah, and just power off. So engine on. We don't have a shield button. It doesn't look like. Okay, it is what it is, right? We do have an ejection seat lever, so the ship does eject. And that's about it. I feel like the ship needs a gold pass. It does have a 3D radar, which is nice, though. And our hand is on the throttle here, the yoke in the center, which is nice. So pretty cool looking cockpit. 4 multifunction displays. We have our ship status and target on top left and right, and we can kind of see the bottom MFDs when we're flying around, but we have our power triangle and our shields on there as well. You can see we have our 2 Panther CF337 laser repeaters that are on the wings, and our yellow jacket size 1 ballistic Gatlings. We'll have to be ginger with them because there's only about 1,000 rounds a piece. As far as stealth goes, our stealth numbers up here: 6,050 IR, 7,473 cross section, and 5,250 EM and going down. All in all, feels small, not claustrophobic small, but pretty small. Lots of glass, but has some struts in there as well to kind of give you that feel of almost like you're in an A-wing in Star Wars. So let's call for the hangar, and we'll go ahead and lift up a little bit, rotate down to the bottom of the ship, and articulate the landing gear. As the gear come up, the wings come down, and now it actually looks like an arrow, like a big lawn dart there. Okay, let's bring it up here as we leave Seraphim. Oh, it's light outside. Very nice. Okay, and we will engage our cruise. I do like the way the engine looks. It is very nice. I want to give a quick look around the ship while we're in space. Now you can see where those vertical stabilizers are, with where the rudders are, and the little winglets that drop down on the edge of the wings. Looks very cool. It looks very aerodynamic as well, except for that pitot tube that's sticking out the front. I could do without that, but the way the guns are laid out, the way the missiles are laid out, very neat. And those remote turrets on top. So our Anvil Arrow, the flying lawn dart. Okay, in space, our SCM speed is 232. Let's check our boost speed. Quick to boost. Very quick to reach max boost of, it looks like 515 is our max SCM boost. We'll go ahead and go into nav mode. Standard wait time here. Okay. Check our maximum navigational speed. Ooh, I hope we don't black out quite a lot from this ship. It looks like 1,210. So pretty quick overall. Definitely not the fastest. The Titan is definitely faster than this ship, but decent speed overall. All right, let's give it a pitch check in space. The pitch is very fast, very maneuverable ship. Let's check it in yaw. Feels good in yaw, although that's a little bit slow. And it rolls, I wish it would roll faster. It's surprisingly, it's maneuverable, but it's less maneuverable than would have imagined. So interesting on that with the Anvil arrow. Okay, as we're calming down from our G-Safe induced panic, I guess it's time to find a mission and take the ship out dogfighting and see how it performs. Stay tuned. All right, folks, so we are back. We're heading towards our target. Unfortunately, it is on the dark side of Yella, but it is a BLRT. I wanted to go a little harder, but these are the missions that are available to us. So might have to switch into MVG mode, but we're going to try and just the max RGB mode and see how that goes. This for 20k out, I am going to switch over into a regular gun mode here, and going to pop up, I guess, a missile, 2 missiles. See how that goes. One of the downsides of the Anvil arrow is the shield pool. It only has one size 1 shield, and so I think shield hit points are right around 1500. So surprisingly, with its small size, it is not very stealthy. It actually has a cross section of 74-73. So even though our EM is now below that, that is our range that they should be able to find us at. So they should be able to see us right about now. I mean, we'll see how that goes, of course, but you know, I guess I expected the ship to be a little stealthier. So we have Antonio Khan, who is our target. I want to see him. Oh, he found us. We have a lock. I'm shooting the missiles. Okay. And he's shooting missiles back at us. We'll try to use our boost and maneuverability to try to avoid getting killed. You can see how fast those. Oh my gosh. These guns are kind of everywhere right now. Oh, I didn't mean to be in that gimbal mode. And we took down our target. I didn't even see what it was. That's how fast that went. This ship is an Aurora LM, one of the ships that's actually part of this review. But I did hit the first ship with some missiles, so I'm sure that didn't help him. Let's see how fast we can take down the Aurora LM. Using the maneuverability of the Anvil arrow. I don't like shooting into downstrafe, but... And he's gone. That was pretty quick. And boom goes the dynamite. Okay. Overall, that was really fast for the arrow to shoot and kill its targets. I used about half of my ballistic ammo. Mistakenly had my gimbals not on lock because I hit G at some point when I was doing the missiles without being in missile mode. So, but that mission went really fast. It's quick money. The arrow felt very maneuverable, and it looks really cool in the dark as well. You guys think about that with the red lights and everything? Definitely feels like it is made to be a fighter. All right, let's change the reshade back to normal. So it's a little bit darker even. Looks really awesome. I love the look of this ship. It is a lot of fun. All right, with that, let's go check out it's flying around a moon, and stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, so let's talk about the Anvil Arrow, custom built, purpose built, I should say, light fighter from Anvil Aerospace. It has a number of stats that are in the high range or above average range. It has above average maneuverability. The total number being 318, which it felt very maneuverable, and it should be very maneuverable considering it's a very small purpose-built light fighter. It has above average flight time for a ship of its size, especially, and flight time of 40 minutes without having to go stop for gas. It does have fuel scoops, though. It has above average SCM speed, which is very nice to have. I mean, I expected the ship to be faster, to be quite honest with you, but SCM speed of 232, it can move. It's a good SCM speed. And it does have above average armor damage resistance percentile, 54% DR percent, so higher than most of the ships in the light fighter, light freight category. The downsides of the Arrow are a few, but it is tied with the worst in-class shield pool. It only has one size 1 shield, which gives it a shield total hit points of 1,500. So don't take a lot of damage. Don't lose your shields, because the hull isn't that great either, although it's not horrible. It's not the worst. It's very average. But yeah, not a lot of shields in the Anvil Arrow. X factors are a good damage resistance percentile. It's fast, but I feel it should be faster. The Arrow was built to be extremely fast. It's designed to be aerodynamic, and I think, and I hope, the future of master modes, it actually makes this ship much faster. And it is agile. It has good maneuverability, good flight time, but 1 shield. So I definitely expected more with the Anvil Arrow. Overall, because of the downside with the shield and that it's very average in most stats and just above average, not best in class, some of the other stats, it does get a B, but it gets a B- as an overall grade. So that is the Anvil Arrow. All right, so let's talk about the rest of the stats for the Arrow. Very average in total weapon damage for guns, 1,426. Not great, not the worst, but not great. Total weapon damage for missiles, stock missiles, I mean, it only has 6. They're all size 2. 14,337 damage. Okay, it's average. So that gives it, its total weapon damage is very average in the stock configuration, 15,763. It is not stealthy, which I think a ship of its size and its profile, it should be stealthier, but it's average in stealth at about a total of 18,752. I figure the cross section would be smaller on the Arrow, but it is big from the top because it's all really one piece. The total hit points, while not great, are not horrible, very average. 8,680 total hull hit points and an average 2,000 hit point weakest vital part. I didn't take any damage in the dogfight, so we didn't get to test out survivability. Its SCM boost speed is kind of lackluster. It's average in that at 515, but I just feel like it should be higher. I feel like the Arrow should be better in speed. I mean, that should be its defining characteristic. Its maximum navigational speed is also on the average side, slowish, 1,210. Feel like that should be something like 1,400 or more. Why is the Avenger Titan faster than the Anvil Arrow when the Arrow is really just a wing, an engine with wings on it? It has an average quantum fuel tank size 671, and its in-game no cargo to speak of, and its in-game price 1.98 million alpha UEC. So there we go with the Anvil Arrow, grade of a B-. Let's get on to its loadout. Well, thanks for stopping by and watching our video, folks. Don't forget to tune in to the next video coming soon. Pay attention to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell when you want the next one to come up, and look out for the next video. It's in edit right now, I can guarantee you that. And if you're interested in getting way more detailed, Make sure to check out the members only section. You can become a YouTube channel member for as low as $5 a month and get way more detail in these videos. But thank you for stopping by. We'll see you in the next one.